I remember Marlene and her health problem too with the skin cancer, and it all fell on that time when they were going to Thailand. And you know, she was like, oh, she wanted to go, really go, but she really didn't want. She wanted to stay, you know, with me, and then I remember she said to me, tell me to stay and I'll stay and I'll be. And I said, no, I cannot get between what God has prepared for you. He made a way out of nowhere for you to be able to go to Thailand. So I cannot stand in the middle and say, no, I'm your husband. You cannot go. No. The Lord is more greater than me. So I said, go. Lord, can, you know, now it's time for my sisters for help, you know. So she was able to go to Thailand. And I remained, you know, home, working there, come home in the night, you know, in the evening, and take care of my dad, help him to the bathroom, bathe him, make his food if he has a hard time eating, then I have to feed him. Through all that, I just thank God for giving me strength, even though maybe sometimes I could have been a little stressed out, or I could have been tired, but He gave me always ample nourishment for whatever my needs was. But it's no easy task, you know, taking care of you, because it kind of stresses everything out. But then I guess in that recipe, the magic is Jesus, having His hand upon all in that situation. It might go a little chaotic, but it always happens to work its way back right into perspective. And there were some hard times, but He always brought us back. And then on His very last days of living, you know, I don't know what happened to me physically. A spider bit my leg, and from that it swelled up, and I don't know. I was going to doctors, they was giving me all kind of antibiotics, but then yet, you know, sometimes I look at, Lord, is this your way of having me to be at home to spend the last days with my dad? And I don't know if it was so, but if it was, you know, I was happy either way. You know, because the Lord, He knows you. And He knows if I'm top shape, every day I go work. Only if I'm not so feeling good, then that's when I stay home. But I just thank God for giving me strength every day for go work. But just at that time, in that last days of my dad's life, my leg swollen, and so I would still take care of it, even though, you know, I would help my sisters, and then me and Marlene would bathe my dad, you know, in the morning, make his breakfast, and if he was having a hard time of controlling his muscles in his arm, then we would feed him. And I remember, you know, it's kind of funny, because as babies, you know, they would feed us, and here, you know, I gotta feed my dad, and it's like, oh yeah, sometimes, you know, on certain foods you don't want to eat. No, you gotta open up the tray for the coming. So it was kind of funny, but that was good moments. I mean, you know, treasure moments for me for keep, you know. And he always, my dad is, if people know my dad, he was strong, and he was able to do things for himself. As I was growing up, he would say, son, you don't need to depend on nobody. I may have been hard on you growing up, but it was so, you don't need to depend on anybody for help. You can do them yourself. And then, you know, in his bits and pieces also, he would say, if you cannot, you ask God. You ask God for help you. So I was like, oh. So my dad was kind of that, you know, that person too. Even when he couldn't be, he would have that times on the bed that he felt like he was useless because he couldn't make for himself. And I said, you know what, Dad? It's time for us to take care of you, because you had taken care of us growing up. You had provided food for us, shelter. You have met all our physical needs in this world. So in this world, in this physical world, is for us to take care of you now that you cannot make. And you know, I did the best I think I could.
Your dad is one of your, sometimes he helps you, yeah? As a Levite.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was when he was able, yeah. He used to come in and help, and I'd be like, well, Dad, no, I get on my dad, you know, because I'm like, Dad, you older, and I'm like, and then, my back, oh, my shoulder, you know, because if not, then I have to massage, and I'm like, okay, Dad, okay, Paul. For me, on my part, that was the biggest part with my dad, in like taking care of him, was the dementia part. And if you don't really understand, you know, the sickness of dementia, Alzheimer's that's the last bad stage. But the dementia part is, to me, is by far the hardest, because with my dad, it was like there's a switch like in his brain. When the switch is off, that would be when he was in his right mind. You could talk to him, and you know that was him. Because if you know your parents or your loved ones, you know that that's them. And you could just step out for a little while, you know, maybe 5-10 minutes, come back, and they're a total different person. And it's really hard to try and take care of an elderly loved one who has dementia. I remember the accusations and accusing of my wife this and that, and I would be, in the beginning, say, I thank God in all through that, keeping me biased, not jumping the gun and following my dad in accusing my wife of such things, but keeping me biased and always questioning, where is this coming from? I remember